I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
Breaking news, a postal worker shot in the face at an Everett apartment complex. Investigators say the suspect is a package delivery driver and is now in custody. It happened just before 1 p.m. at the West Mall Place Apartments, and that's where we find Fox 13's Alejandro Guzman. Ali, what can you tell us?
Yes, Amira, we're right outside those apartments. They're located right near the Everett Mallway here in Everett. And I want to show you exactly what we're dealing with because police say that that postal worker was actually shot in the face right before 1 p.m. And investigators are confirming that the employee was, or that the victim is a United States Postal Service employee. You can see that van is still here at the entrance of the complex. We're told it should be towed here momentarily, but in the meantime, that driver, the accused shooter, is currently already in custody, and postal inspectors confirmed that the carrier was confronted, that there was a small fight near the mailroom inside the complex before those shots were fired.
A lot of mail carriers are well known to the people that they deliver to. They're out here on the street every single day doing a service to the community. So I don't know this specific mail carrier, but absolutely, they've been around for a long time. They're well known, well liked. So this is devastating to the postal community, to the community at large, to everyone. Mail carriers are just out here trying to do their job and get that next package to the next person. So this is a pretty big one for the postal service itself.
That was John Wiegand, a USPS postal inspector, and he says worker is currently being treated at Harborview. Now, I also spoke with a neighbor who says that he's known this mail carrier for years. For him, this incident hits very close to home.
It's a quiet neighborhood. I mean, the police station was literally 10 steps away from where this accident happened. So it's not like we're in a bad part of the area. I mean, you have your casual, homeless people and people that walk through here getting places. But other than that, quiet area, there's not too much violence or anything like this, like shootings like this going on.
This has definitely rattled the community. It's impacted those who actually live here. We're seeing many of them park along the street because they're prohibited from going into their complex. Now, that same neighbor tells me that the employee, that victim, the USPS postal worker, is a very hardworking man who is very nice and very liked in the community. Now, investigators are not releasing a motive at this point. As we mentioned, this is a very active investigation, but they did stress that there is no danger to the community. I've personally reached out to Everett Police and are waiting to hear back. I'll update you when
Well, there have been updates about this. When I say y'all are emotional, ridiculous animals, I'm not over exaggerating. Apparently, both the Amazon worker and the United States postal worker are black men. Everyone knows the rules when a postal service worker has the mailboxes open. A United States postal worker is trained. They have to get certification. It's a lengthy process. Amazon hire any piece of shit, low life, ex-con off the streets. That's why you often see them in a unmarked van, or they work, because what they do is Amazon hires third-party corporations, and those third-party corporations actually distribute the mail. They hire whoever, whenever. When you see these people just run up and throw your package on the ground and then take off, or they're extremely unprofessional, or they're having altercations with people, they're the ones that are hired by these third-party companies. These are emotional wrecks. These are people, for one thing, if you're working for Amazon, why are you armed? You're in Seattle, Washington, and Everett. Why do you even have a gun on you in the first place is the question. So that means that if it wasn't this postal worker telling you that you cannot access the mailboxes while they're open, everyone knows that. I live in an apartment complex. We wait in line. Even we can see our mail is right there. We never walk past the mailman, stick our hands in the box and pull it out and leave. He doesn't know if that's our unit. He doesn't know if we're the owners of it or we're just waiting. He doesn't know. It's not his job. But the rules are the rules. Everyone knows you wait until he's finished. Once he closes it, locks it with his master key, then if you're delivering a package, if you have a key for that box or if you have to give it to someone else or put it in front of the door, do that. Why the Amazon driver didn't just take the package directly to the apartment door? That's the problem with certain people. They want to make their own rules. In a society where we already have rules established, it never works out. It doesn't work that way. Now you got a United States Postal Service, I believe they're officers, but an employee for sure, who was just shot in the eye. Luckily, because of the grace of God, he survived. Imagine you work a job like a mailman. You're not in the streets. You're not in a risky profession. You're not a stunt driver or something crazy or doing something illegal. You're a working man that gets your check. You go home to your family, you have your benefits. And someone who's also delivering packages decides just to unilaterally decide to shoot you in the face because he didn't want to follow your orders. The instructions are clear. Once the boxes are open for all the units, let me finish distributing my mail. I don't care if you're in a hurry and you're Amazon. You have to wait. And then apparently they got into a physical altercation, a shoving match. The other guy shoots him in the eye. My point is, if it wasn't this delivery guy, then it would have been the worker in the drive-thru at Wendy's or the guy that's moving too slow in the convenience store. This person was armed and they were ready to pull the trigger on anybody. This person luckily survived, but they just got the short end of the stick. Again, if it wasn't this person, it would have been somebody else. This person, whoever they had delivering packages, was on edge. And now Amazon's going to be liable. The United States Postal Service is going to be liable. This person's he's not going to be able to work again. So permanent disability and you lost an eye. You shoot someone in the eye, it's not like they're going to be able to go in there and repair that. All because some emotional animal, and that's the thing. I know people just got out of jail. They need employment. You want to hire them, but you're afraid to because of their history. But but look at the balance. Now this company, this third-party company, who's likely maybe they're a part of some divergent program for newly released people, or they're trying to, it's Seattle, it's woke as hell. So they're, God knows what kind of programs they got where they're hire anybody to do anything. But you can't even give these people a chance because they'll destroy your business. They don't care about anything. They don't care. They don't give a fuck about the consequences. Shot someone in the eye while you're at work. What kind of emotional animal idiot are you? Because you don't want to follow the rules. You don't want to listen to somebody. You have a problem with authority. So when you get pulled over by the police, you don't want to provide license registration. You don't want to get out of the vehicle when they ask. You want to fight about it on the side of the road. You want to make a huge scene and force all these men to come rub and touch on you and grab you and pull you instead of just being polite, complying. Even if you get arrested, fight it in court. On the side of the road, you lose. There is nothing to fight about. You've lived in this country, most people have, their whole lives. How do you not understand how the country works? It is a country, it's a company too, but you should know how the system works by now. We all have the internet. We can watch body cam footage. We see, for example, everything that happens. Any situation you can ever think about getting yourself in, somebody's already been in it, and it's on the internet. If you have some wild idea on how you want to handle things, check the internet. I'm sure this is not the first time people that are competing for delivering packages where one of them shot somebody. You can look at the outcome. You can see where this goes. It's nowhere positive, not for the person who did the shooting. I'm just grateful that the guy survived. And look at him. You know, I usually know all my mailmen. I meet them, I talk to them, you bump into them when you're leaving your house, you're coming home, and you see them and you talk to them, you get to know them, you develop a rapport. I'd be devastated if I found out somebody, you know, pulled out a gun and shot one of my mail workers. Like, that'd be horrible. But look at the reality of how we're living. This is insane. But I'm a bad guy because I say you guys are emotional animals, and separation is the only solution I can think of to insist on public safety. I tell people Trump has to literally send the military into black cities to protect black people from each other specifically. And then every time I look up, somebody wants to argue with me, but then on the other hand, everything about reality is proving my point. Somebody in my comments the other day said maybe reality is racist. Shit, what does that say about reality? But what does that say about you? Things have to change, and blaming problems on everybody else and not looking inward, not looking in the mirror is not helping. It's not. There is no brotherly love. There is none of that. But but somebody will find a way to make this to be something about race, and they'll blame somebody else. And then the internet will echo it. That's hurting people. That's hurting the community. That's hurting everybody. That's hurting our society. Separation is the only thing I can think of. Even though the victim and the perpetrator were both black, it could have been somebody else. Could have been anyone else. Bringing a gun to work at your Amazon delivery job. You woke up in the morning and said, "You know what? I got a great idea." And I don't even. And in Washington State, it's not even a right to carry state. No constitutional carry. You didn't. That's not even legal there, and you're still doing it. Even when you're trying to work and do the right thing, you still want to break the law. You're addicted to prison. Now he's in custody. Already has a record, more than likely. Will likely be going back to jail, where he will be happy. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was telling me, like, because he had had some drinks, calls me, and he's like, you know, when I got out of jail last year, I was sad. I was like, well, why were you sad? Like, you got a boyfriend in there? You gonna miss him? He's like, nah. But I don't have no bills in jail. I have a good program. I know what I'm gonna do every day. I have a simple life. But I knew I was getting out, and then I have to get back into the rat race, figure out life, pay bills, dance around, stay out of trouble. You know, I feel like some people are just begging they want prison. They said what amendment was that? The 13th? They said the 13th Amendment says that slavery is abolished unless you commit a crime. Then you will be enslaved, and we put you in there. We have prisons for that. You'll be shocked how many people literally volunteer to become slaves, but yet on the outside, everybody pretends how much they hate slavery, but yet there's so many people that literally volunteer to be slaves. It's like they love slavery, just minus the labor part, but they love being enslaved. They love having a master that tells them you get up at 6 a.m., you eat at 9 a.m., you go play cards at this a.m., you go to the yard at this time, and then you go back to your cell, you go back to sleep, and then they get into a routine. They can follow those rules in there because it's the law of the jungle. You know, you don't really have, there is a hierarchy. There's guards everywhere. So they literally have the guards in there, not to keep them from escaping, but to keep them from killing each other. That's why the guards are there. The guards are only there just to keep them from hurting each other. Isn't that a shame? These people are so dangerous on the outside. On the outside, we don't even have enough police. That's why I was asking today, like, how many active military does the United States have? I'm watching videos of literal Black Americans hurting each other. Las Vegas, I saw 15 people killed over the weekend in Dallas, Texas, Memphis, Chicago, Alabama, Georgia, Philadelphia. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And when you go look at all these cities, it's in the hoods, in the black areas. And they're saying we need to send the military in there. But it's not that you need the military to stop everybody from harming everybody. It's only specifically in the black community. And there's nobody besides Trump offering any solution. And the only solution so far that has worked, and so far it's worked in DC, LA, and so far in Memphis, is we have to send in the freaking military. Bro, that's shameful. That's shameful that we are there as a country. You can't even deliver mail without hurting each other. Can't even deliver mail. One of my favorite rappers was killed in Memphis. We can't even go buy cookies without killing each other. Nothing. Nowhere is safe. And you'll be surprised how many people like it that way. It's a shame. If you agree, leave a comment, like and subscribe. The Single Boyfriend, Right Wing Rico. I'm open to suggestions. I'm hoping for a speedy recovery for the United States Postal Service worker. And I hope they give as much time as possible to this emotional animal, likely a Democrat, that literally just shot this man in his eye because he told him not to come into the area while he's delivering mail. And this emotional animal has a problem with authority. Give him all day. Leave a comment, and then I'll be back on in a few minutes. We have like 4 other topics today, so I'll be back on live in a few. Thank you for tuning.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.